Tshamchu by Pema Gyaltshen and illustrated by Toby. What was that? He thought. Was it the Gunibob? The ghost stories that he had heard from his parents? Nah, he said to himself, pulling his blanket closer and curling himself into a cozy ball. Slowly, Chunko half peeped through the fold of his blanket. His eyes caught sight of a furry, pointy-eared creature with a long tail. Hello! Chunko rubbed his eyes and pinched himself. He shut his eyes tight. It's just a dream. Chunko slowly opened his eyes. Yikes! He jumped off his bed. The furry ball was still there, staring at him. Did you say hello to me? Chunko asked nervously. I sure did, said the creature. My name is Tshamchu. I have never heard of a mouse with a name before. A mouse is just a mouse to me. Well, you've met one now, beamed Tshamchu, flashing a broad smile. What's your name? Chunko put his hands to his ears and pretended not to hear him. I'm still waiting, said Tshamchu, tossing his tail into the air. I suppose there's no harm in making friends with a talking mouse, thought Chunko. My name is Chunko, he replied. Chunko, I like your name. Can we be friends? Asked Tshamchu. A talking mouse, and now he wanted to be a friend. Well, what could possibly go wrong? Chunko thought. Why would you want to be my friend? He asked. I have been living all by myself in that hole near your bed. I have never seen the sun, nor have I played with a friend, said Tshamchu. Chunko felt sorry for him. Well, it's no different for me too, replied Chunko. My parents are never around. I am always home alone. Then we can both be friends, said Tshamchu. Chunko stretched himself. He shuffled around the house, looked in the direction of the kitchen. Mummy must have made something yummy, he thought to himself. Indeed she had. His favorite white as pearl sticky rice, dried beef jerky with red chilies and piping hot butter tea. He decided he would invite Tshamchu for breakfast. Will you join me for breakfast? Chunko called out. Within a second, he appeared out of his hole, flipping his tail in the air. His beady eyes shone, even brighter. Chunko smiled and said, Come, my little friends, look at what my mother made. He served Tshamchu a bowl of rice with the beef jerky and a cup of frothy buttered tea. It was the beginning of a long friendship. After finishing breakfast, Chunko cleaned up the plates. Let's go and play outside, said Chunko. I'm scared of the sun, replied Tshamchu. Aw, don't be. The first step is always difficult, but once you get used to it, you may never want to go back to your dark hole, said Chunko cheerily. Chunko gently lifted Tshamchu up. They went out into the garden to greet the sunlight. Come, I have something to show you, said Chunko as he held Tshamchu in his hands. Strolling down the garden until they reached a crumbling wall. Although partly ruined, it was covered by a beautiful cloud of white pansies that shot out of every side of the old wall. Tshamchu stood in awed silence, dazzled by the whiteness of the flowers. I told you that it's only difficult in the beginning. Once you get used to it, said Chunko with a smile. Welcome to your new home, my friend. You will never feel cold and lonely, said Chunko. Suddenly, there was a flutter which landed right next to their feet. Ow! They both exclaimed, jumping in fright. It's you, Putty, said Chunko. Suddenly, there was an excited chatter between the friends, and a warmth encircled the three friends. Thank you, my friends, for accepting me. I feel like I'm finally home, said Tshamchu. The end.
Tshamchu was actually, if we go into the literal context, if you go by the pronunciation, so usually people feel it's about a niece, no, like your niece, Tshamchu. But actually, Tshamchu was, for me, it's first of all my 13th book, it's my latest book, and I wrote the story during the time of the pandemic. And what inspired me to write the story was, it was a period of time where we were under lockdown. And during that time, I came into acquaintance with a little mouse who we used to like kind of play hide and seek, because the mouse was scared of me, I was scared of the mouse. So this is what I think it was all about during the time of the pandemic. Tshamchu is a representation of what each one of us underwent. I feel like every story, every individual person who's writing a story, they have their own idea, own theme, values or messages. So as such, we can't really say I have a specific value or a message, but because stories are supposed to be value-based, to like if I go back to my, for instance, the Tshamchu story. So what I wanted to say was about the time that we went, right? A difficult period, about trying to be more resilient, more self-dependent. So likewise, I think in my stories, basically what I try to focus on is universal values, and mainly I want to like universal values of compassion, of trying to be more compassionate is one, and then also trying to be kind towards each other, especially like animals and all, and most importantly our cultural legacy, because I feel like this is something where I feel it is diminishing in our present generation, because we're so dependent on technology, even if you want to read a book, you just go directly, you put on your Kindle or you download stories and all that. So this is like something that I wanted to like through all like the book talks I go, so wherever I go, I always try to encourage that please to read, to bring back the habit of reading in the textual form, because like I say, a book has a heart. So if you listen to it, it has many values, countless values, messages, and mainly in my stories, I want to promote our cultural legacy. Exactly. Visual elements are very important because we have to capture young minds. We have to, our story it's for the younger children. So exactly in this sense, if I go into my current story, if I may, so if I go to Tshamchu, so to start with, first of all, I would like to thank Sonam Topke, my illustrator and the graphic designer for this book. Otherwise, the book would not have come into partial existence. So if you go into Tshamchu, here's Tshamchu. So if you look at Tshamchu and the relatability to the story, so like I said, if you look at him, instantly when children look at him, they'll see someone who's adorable, who has beady eyes, because children always relate more to animal characters. So this is Tshamchu. Hello, I'm Tshamchu. So now when you go into actually collaborating with the illustrator, there are some times where precisely we want something in our story to be said, a certain message to be conveyed. So here again, like for instance, this image here, This picture actually I had it almost redone about 5 times lah, because the main thing was to draw attention on the expression. I wanted more animated, you know, like the face should speak what like a picture speaks. So the expressions here to make it more alive, more animated. The illustrator is as important as the writer in the story lah. My title story, Beautiful Chaos lah, is actually it's a dedication to children lah, young adults. Now we're talking about children who are about to enter their teens or who are teens, young adults lah. So as the title says, everything in life is not always beautiful lah. Amidst the beauty there is chaos, and what enhances that beauty is the chaos in it lah. It's just that you have to have the strength and courage and the ability to find it lah. So for the current generation, where sometimes little things also can just set you off lah. You feel like, oh, I can't do it, or oh, I shouldn't have done it, or you know, and then you straight away like resort to a negative train of thought lah, or you try to resort to something which you feel it's right but it's not right. So what I'm just trying to say is like nothing in life, you know, you, like I said, going back to your writing also, now we have to stick to the writing, and on a more general perspective, nothing in life is always like, you know, in a perfectly packaged form or state. So you have to go through many things, but the thing is, eventually if you have a dream, if you want to pursue it, take for writing lah. You want to pursue it, go ahead. You don't need you don't need someone to put a stamp on you and say, okay, you're perfect, you're good. Okay, you're not perfect, you're not good. Let it happen, let it take its course, and whatever happens, there'll always surely be like a beautiful outcome to it lah. And most importantly, do read more, learn more, be more. Thank you, love.